Hello, everyone. Today is February 22nd, 2024. This is the Kubernetes storage SIG meeting. So today, we are going to go over our 1.30 release schedule, and there are a few items added to the agenda doc, so we will go over later. If you have any issues that you want to bring to a discussion, please feel free to add it to this agenda doc. And for 1.30, the next deadline is actually today. If you have a feature targeting 1.30, today is the date to submit a placeholder PR for the doc. And then the next deadline is the February 27th. If you want to write a blog for the feature, then that's the date to submit a placeholder PR for the blog. And then after that, the next one, March 5th, that's the code freeze. Okay, so let's look at the spreadsheet. First one is recovering from resize failure. Is Hamang here? Let me add this. So, okay, so I don't think Hamang is here. Yang, do you know?
I think there was no progress.
Oh, okay. All right, thanks. Yang, your voice is not very clear. All right. The next one, voting group API. So we continue to make bug fixes for this one. There are no other new changes yet. There are some API changes that we may consider, but we haven't made progress on that one yet. So right now it's just bug fixing. Next one is provision volumes from cross namespace snapshot PVC. So let's see if Michelle's not here. So yeah, I don't know what's the progress on this. Okay, so say no update. Next one is CSI volume health at E2 test. So I did talk to Ashwari. I think she is still trying to get her environment set up for this one. So so she will work on this one, but we don't have test out yet. So say work in progress. Next one is change block tracking. Hey, Ben, you want to give an update on this?
So CSI spec change is still not merged, but it's like one sentence away from getting merged. I did see that there was another review from James, although I haven't read it yet. So I think we just need to make one last change at the CSI spec and merge it. And I don't have an update on the KEP side. Do you know what the latest on the KEP for the CVT is, Xing?
No, I did ping Michelle, so she will add that to her queue to review.
But there have been some reviews happening and some updates. I've seen activity. I haven't reviewed it myself lately.
Yeah, I think those are from the PRR side, and there are some comments from PRR reviewer. I think Ivan has updated that, addressed those comments. So,
all right, it's all good stuff.
Yeah, so she would say PRR. Okay. see of our comments addressed. So for the CSI spec PR, I do see Carl made an update yesterday. Did you say James reviewed it after yesterday, or was that earlier?
I saw the mail from James just a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So basically review.
Oh, it looks like it's an approval. So
Oh, he approved it?
okay, so Carl pushed an update yesterday.
Right.
James commented and then approved it.
Approved?
Yeah. Okay, so we can probably merge this.
Oh, okay, good. So maybe take a look and see if we can get that merged.
Yeah. This is literally 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, that's really great progress. Yeah, we can finally get that merged. That'll be awesome. And then I guess we don't have to cut a release yet, right? That we can wait. We can wait until later.
Right. Just in time release.
All right, so this one should say started. Thank you. So next one, enable privileged containers for Windows to replace CSI proxy for Windows. So I believe Manu is looking into this.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, everyone. So Manu's not here today, but we did meet with Mauricio last week, and we're planning on implementing this over on the CSI driver, on the EBS CSI driver, and right now we're working through the line, but we do plan to support this.
Okay, so sorry, so you're saying you will start by supporting this in EBS CSI driver? Or is this like a more general? Okay. Oh, I thought this is like a more general change, no?
So basically for meeting with Mauricio, I think what we're looking at right now is we need at least 2 drivers to support this functionality so that we can proceed with graduating the cap.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, great. Thank you. So basically the common changes are already there. That's what you mean, right? Well, I thought because I was thinking there's some common changes that need to be made, but you're saying
right.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So it started. So if that's the case, this one says design. Should we say alpha or something? What is the? I'm not sure how we are, because this has been in design for a while. SAD, do you know what we supposed to do? Should we change the status of this one, or we just leave this as design? I'm not quite sure about this particular item.
This one is Windows privilege containers. I think we can leave it as design for this cycle.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure. Thanks. All right, next one, secure links relabeling using mount options, access modes other than reroll and spot.
So I have a PR on review. I have placeholder PR opened, and that's it.
Doc placeholder, right? Placeholder.
Yep.
What about blog?
I am not sure I actually want a blog. I will think about it.
Okay. It might be good because just to explain what this one is, it might be confusing. I could think this is, we have these two things. like, what what is supported by what, like two mode, right?
Okay.
To write down
idea.
something simple.
All right, good idea. I will consider it.
Okay, thank you. Next one is always honor reclaim policy. So we're working on E2E test in this release.
Hey, Xing, I think apart from the E2E test, we did increase to, I mean, we didn't discuss about increasing the scope, right? About deleting a PV directly, right? So I don't know if we should discuss about it right now, or should we discuss at the end of the meeting? How does this, how do we
Let's
go?
talk about that at the end. Yeah.
Good. I'll add it on the agenda then.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think we did talk about this one in the last meeting. You can even see that in the meeting notes, right? We can talk about that.
Sure.
Right. Okay, next one, voting attributes class staying alpha. Do we have Sunny or because Sunny's not here? So yeah, so I know there are some PR out. Kalari has been working on those. So let's say work in progress. We are staying in alpha. Next one is robust volume manager reconstruction. Moving to GA. Oops, sorry.
So the code has been merged, and I have a placeholder PR, a doc PR.
Okay. Yeah. Placeholder PR. Oh, so the code to flip the feature gate is merged?
Yes.
Okay. So basically that's it, right? And there's no more code changes, right?
Yeah, I have removed a lot of old code.
Okay.
With that change and renamed stuff around. So we have just one reconstruction, and it's forced enabled by default, and there is no way back.
Okay. And then for this one, are you going to write a blog for this?
No. I think
Okay.
I
It is
wrote
kind of hard to
that
explain. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And next one is the storage capacity scoring. I think this is staying in design. Okay, so since Michelle is not here, I'm not sure what's the professor to say, no update. Non-graceful no shutdown, this is the test. We're trying to get that in, but still, I think that PI is still out. I still need to pin Ashtosh. Next one is add option to disable 6-minute force detach timer. Ben, do you have any update on this one?
Yeah, this one has been reviewed a few times. We got an LGTM and approved from Michelle. I think we're looking for one more review before it goes in. I think the docs were reviewed, so it should go in within a week.
So the code already has the labels, necessary labels, so then it will be merged, right? Or we still need the.
I think we need a KCM reviewer to also LGTM
okay.
it.
Okay. Okay, so getting close. Thanks. Next one is cozy overall move to beta. So let's see, I don't see anyone from cozy side. So Blaine is working on updating the cap. So it's still working on updating the cap. Next one is the CSI sidecar all-in-one. Do we have any update on this? I see Connor or yeah, or Mauricio.
So Connor's not here, but I also attended that meeting. We did have a sync up with Mauricio. Because us AWS folks are really interested in helping out the community with this one as well.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we have a bi-weekly sync now to catch up
great.
on updates for this. But yeah, for now, no real meaningful update. We kind of just caught up on the status of the work so far.
Okay, great. Thank you. And next one is control volume mode conversion between source and target. I don't know if Rona is here or not. Okay, it looks like Rona is not here. So this one, all the code and E2 tests, those are all in. So only docs remaining. So Rona has already submitted a placeholder PR for doc and blog. And okay, so it looks like that's all we have. Okay, so let's see. So we have this item here. Stephen, want to talk about this?
Thank you. As part of the overall Kubernetes conformance program, we're just cleaning up some of the storage endpoints, and this PR, of course, is taking care of the volume attachment ones. So a request would be if we can get it reviewed and if it can get merged within the next sort of like just on a week, we can still give it soak time to be able to promote it to conformance before code freeze in about just over 3 weeks.
Okay.
There's once it's done, there and it's promoted, then we've got a follow-up test for the status endpoints planned already as well.
Okay, so does this the deadline for the test freeze is March 19th, right? This is the
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So once this PR is merged, it would have to soak on the Kubernetes test grid for 2 weeks, flake free.
Okay.
Before it then
4 weeks. I'm sorry,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
And once it's gone through that 2-week period of no issues, then we can then update the test to confirm to tag it as a conformance test.
Okay. Thank you.
That's okay. Thank you very much for the time.
All right. So okay, so this one we need reviews. And next one. So Deepak, you want to talk about this?
Yeah. So I just wanted to discuss about what I'm planning to do, and if anybody has, any feedback regarding that. The problem we're trying to solve is honoring the reclaim policy for a statically provisioned PV, and it's basically an unbound PV. So this is like a PV object, and you delete the PV. The expectation is the underlying storage should also delete the volume, so like it should be gone entirely. Right now that doesn't happen, and the current behavior is with my existing fix. What happens is not just with my existing fix. I think it was an existing behavior in the past as well. The volume can be deleted only if it was in a release state, not in an available state. So that was a thing. So what I will be proposing is even if the volume is in an available state, and if it was deleted, it should be deleted from the underlying storage. So that's what I wanted to talk about. If anybody has any inputs regarding this, or does this sound okay to you guys?
So if released and available?
Yes, if both, if released and available, we want it to be honoring the reclaim policy for an unbound PV, unbound statically provisioned PV.
The reclaim policy says what should happen after the volume loses its PVC. That's what we call reclaim. It doesn't say anything about the volume before that. So if the volume is still available, then I would keep the existing behavior, because you never know who is deleting available PVs today, and they expect that it doesn't have any bad effect on the storage backend. They could be very surprised that their volumes are getting deleted.
So I think if we want to keep this behavior, then we really need to document this one clearly, because right now, by reading our documentation, it is very confusing. Nobody knows when the policy will be honored, when it will not, right? If we can have a way to explain this clearly in the documentation, then I think, yeah, it's fine. But otherwise, the documentation is really, really confusing.
Yeah, documentation would help, definitely.
But yeah, I guess the thing is, how do we document this one? Should we just say, if it is released and available, then it will not be?
Reclaim policy defines the behavior after PVC is deleted, not before. If the volume was never bound,
however, remember the reason we have added this feature is because there is a inconsistent behavior depending on whether you start to delete PVC first or you delete PV first, right?
Yeah, that was racy, like because of the
right. So we are trying this feature based saying, okay, now no matter how you start to delete this thing, whether you start to delete PVC first or you start to delete PV first, now we want to honor this reclaim policy. That's the change, right? That's one thing that we will keep. But then in what case we are saying this reclaim policies will not be honored? I guess I'm still I still do not know how to document that. I feel like
that's
what
hard.
do we say? Yeah, I think if it's so complicated, then why, I since we are making this change to make it consistent, why can't we be consistent 100% of time? I mean, if we cannot, then we need to say in exactly what scenario this will not be honored, right? Otherwise, it's
sure.
Go. So yeah, maybe we need to come up with the exact description. I'll say how to document this one. See if we're happy with it, because otherwise, if it's still confusing, then I don't know why we want to keep the confusing behavior, since we are going to change this one, saying that we are honoring it anyway, right? Why don't we just make it completely honored? I don't know who want to keep the very confusing behavior. Since you're changing it anyway, right? Why don't we just change it?
It's changed. I would say it's a pretty big behavioral change in this case. If you are deleting available PVs, until now, it did not do anything in the storage backend.
Right. Right, but then we also have, so we need to give them more time. So if we, let's say, if we change it, right? If we decide to change, then we need to give them more time. Keep that behind this alpha feature gate until we are really sure. Right. So we are already making this change. I think that's what I'm thinking, is we are already making this change. So
well, until now we have just fixing our race conditions.
Well, it's not just race condition, right? It really depends on which they start first, right? So it's like a very we can actually, that one we can actually describe in what case that's actually not honored. Okay, so maybe let's just try to document this and see if we can come up with something that is clear to everyone, right? And then maybe we can come back to this one. I feel it's just.
If I understand this correctly, reclaim policy is essentially associated for a bound PV/PVC. But if you just have a PV object and it hasn't ever been bound to any PVC and it's statically provisioned, does the reclaim policy mean nothing on the PV object? Would that be correct? It just seems counterintuitive.
It actually, if you, let's say they are bound before now, you delete it, right? PVC is gone. But if you, let's say if it's not deleted, it's retained, then the PV is still there. At that point, when you delete that PV, that retain policy will still have an impact. If it's retained, then it's not going to send that request to CSI, right? So it's not, we cannot say that it's completely not, has no impact if it's just PV alone. So that's the part of it. Like, how do we even explain, like in what case this will, I think it depends on this, it depends on that, is that annotation or a finalizer that actually, I believe Corey brought this up there, right? We do have this check there. So it sounds like if we do that, we actually even need to talk about this internal annotation, because that's how we make the decision, right? Because otherwise, how do you know if this is purely static or if it's something was bound before? You cannot tell other than by checking some annotations. Right?
You see that in PV spec. There is the claim ref, and if it is filled, then it was bound.
Right. But what I'm talking about is like, this is like after, it was bound at one point, but now it become unbound. That PV seems to behave differently than something you just manually craft a PV, something, it depends on, because we make the distinction based on some annotations, right? But then people can also just add those. I know those are kind of we are supposed to
if
use that
they know what they are doing, if they know what they are doing, they can add any annotations they want.
Right, but I think sometimes, I think sometimes what happens is people just copy an existing one, then they may have that thing there, right? So if someone just manually create this PV object without referencing anything, then maybe they don't have those annotations. But if they use something that is left from and already bound PV, then they may have that one by accident. So then how do you explain that? It's very complicated, I have to say. Maybe, I'm sorry, what is this? What looks like is this some, is that
we never documented these annotations officially. Like there are some
Right.
internal.
We did not, yeah, but I'm just saying people can just by mistake, they may just copy some existing PV, right? They don't know what those annotations are for, and then they are left there if they copy it that way, rather than they just cleanly, build a new PV object, right? That's different. So then
I'm looking at the existing documentation, and it clearly says that the reclaim policy for a persistent volume tells the cluster what to do with the volume after it has been released from its claim. So I think like we should not touch available.
I don't think that is really clear because I got so many questions on that documentation.
Yeah, like we can always make it better, but I don't like to change it too much, the behavior, because there are other people they know what it's doing and they are deleting PVs now.
So yeah, I see your concern, right? Definitely, that's if somebody is relying on that one, suddenly their PV get deleted, it's data loss, it's also pretty bad. Okay, so Deepa, I think what we need to do is we need to first, can you capture this maybe in some Google Doc, like in what case this would happen? Then we can decide. I just want to see, like, if we want to keep this, how can we improve the documentation so that everybody can understand it, right? Not just people who are working on the code, but users can understand that. Right now, I think, at least I got questions from our QE. They couldn't follow that documentation.
Sure. Yeah, and I did also take a look at the doc right now. It clearly says it is kind of related to the PVC. The reclaim policy for a persistent volume tells the cluster what to do with the volume after it has been released from its claim. So I guess the reclaim policy is really applicable to a released PV per se. So whatever is the current implementation, it kind of matches the documentation we have.
Right. I guess we need to find out what is the behavior if someone just copy a PV that is kind of, you have that, right? You have that bound, but now it is released. What if someone just create a new one? They have this volume handle. Then they created this PV. They copied it from some released one. Then they kind of simulated this behavior, right? So how does that work? Can you just try to document that somewhere so we can look at that and see? Because
I can do that.
I want to know how to explain that if someone like run into that.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Hello, I sent some message. How can you take a look?
Color is a coloring? Okay. Yeah, I was actually trying to read this
yeah.
one. It says the imaging is too old. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I was telling the same thing, right? So my fix actually does work for statically provision PV, but it has to be bound. It has to be, it has to go to a release state. It just doesn't say it. Only one case where it doesn't work for is statically provision PV, which has never been bound to PVC. Only in that case, reclaim policy doesn't work. And it does seem to me like, based on whatever document I see and based on whatever discussion we had today, it does seem like, that is the behavior documented as well. So maybe I'll list it out in the Google Doc and it'll be.
Yeah, the only thing I want to know is how can you manually, if you manually create a PV, you copy a existing PV object. What's the behavior then? Right.
Let me try that. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll create a Google Doc.
You released it and then you just copy that PV. Then what happens? Then which code path that for into? Right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Laurie. Yeah, so we will look at this one. So we need to get those images updated. Oh, Yang, are you trying to say something? Okay. So just say, okay, thank you. Is this the same? Okay, all right. This is by this coloring, right? All right, thank you. Okay, so the next one, Bharath, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I had added this part in the template section earlier. These PRs are created for adding the tags to the resources managed by persistent disk driver and file store driver. Matt Carey was assigned to review the PRs. An initial review has been done, and OK to test label has been added, but would like to hear from Matt. This has been open for quite some time, and the stale label was added. I was wondering, if we could get a tentative time frame, like when this could be picked up. That would be helpful for our planning as well.
Oh, see, Michelle is there. Michelle, I don't see Matt, so.
Yeah, I'll ping Matt about this again and see if we can get a review soon.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. That's from my side. Thank you.
Okay. So I just have a few things about the deprecation. So there's this CSR lib iSCSI, and Andy has moved this into the CSI driver iSCSI. Now, this itself has not been maintained, so I think that we should deprecate it, but it is being used by some other projects. For example, Seagate uses this one, but I think they fork it. And then there may be other users as well. So should we just send out the deprecation message, give them enough time? What is the best way for this?
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. And this one, so this is yeah, I'm supposed to do this a while ago, but this the cozy adapter is not being used, so I will send basically request together with that. Okay, Robert, do you want to talk about this? You added this item here.
Hello. So 2 weeks ago, I reached out on Slack to discuss this. I'm not sure we have time for it though. It's maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, you can get started. If we don't have enough time, we can talk about this in the next meeting.
Right. So the reason I started this discussion was that a while ago, when I asked if people do have experience with AutoFS in context of CSI, there was no one. So just I just wanted to share the findings of how we did it. So essentially what it is, AutoFS, it's an on-demand mounting file system. So in a map config file, you define where do you want to map things, and then once you access them, as in just listing the directory, it sees that okay, so in this example we have /cvmfs /atlas run.ch. It sees that Atlas directory doesn't exist, so AutoFS, the kernel module, reaches out to the automount daemon, which is a user space process, and then it basically runs the command to mount. Use cases of these are, at least where I work, special file systems like CVMFS and EOS that provide software distribution. So that's the CVMFS, and EOS, it's like home directories and different types of data. So how this is implemented then, so inside of a Node plugin, we have a shared host path. So that's this /var runs VMFS. And then, well, Node, a couple of containers. So the Node plugin container just runs the CSI services. So that would be the node and identity. And then we have the automount runner that actually runs the automount daemon. And then automount reconciler that I will come back to later. So a couple of things that we needed to make sure is that the Node plugin pod itself has to run with host PID set to true. Otherwise, the requests, so the requests to mount different paths will not reach the automount daemon. So I guess this is related to how namespaces are handled during this routing of the mount requests. But in any case, this makes it work. Then another thing that is very important is that the AutoFS root is shared mount, and it's available on the host. It must be available on the host, otherwise when the Node plugin pod goes down, well, you need something to be able to reconnect to. And if the path is inside of the, well, if it's a part of the container, it will cease to exist when the container is restarted. So we needed a host path there. And so another point, if you scroll up a bit, so for the node publish, this is how we share the AutoFS root with --rbind and make slave. It must be so when the CSI driver receives node publish volume RPC, it can't just bind the AutoFS root. It must be a recursive bind, because the root itself may already contain active mounts, which wouldn't be then available to the application pod. So it must be recursively made a bind mount, and then the make slave flag is well, you need to share the AutoFS root, otherwise the mount requests or unmount requests wouldn't be shared between the different bind mounts. And that's basically it for that. For note unpublished, yeah, one thing I forgotten to mention, a bit annoying, but consumer pods that then mount the out-of-phase route need to define the mount propagation and set it to host to container. And we've had a couple of users who well, needed to edit the way they deploy their application, if it's a Helm chart or something else. Sometimes this mount propagation parameter is not available. For unmounting, we need to do -- recursive because the out-of-phase route may contain live mounts. And for the things we found out what doesn't work for the moment is that the auto-mount daemon is a user space process. So that means when it crashes, it gets killed. There is nothing to serve the out-of-phase requests. So the good news is that the daemon can reclaim the out-of-phase route. So after it is restarted, so the node plugin pod is restarted, it can continue serving requests. However, there is currently an issue in the way exiting of the daemon is currently implemented. If the daemon exits with SIG term, it unmounts everything. So there is nothing to reconnect to. And then all the consumer pods stop working, basically. A workaround for this is to instead send SIG kill, which skips the unmount at the exit. It's not ideal because the way signals are handled are nowhere explicitly documented, and also this can change in the future. So I reached out to the out-of-phase community to provide a page, like an explicit flag to skip unmounted exit. Another thing that we found out that doesn't work is related to fuse. So if the thing that AutoFS then mounts is a fuse-based file system, this has issues of its own. There, the mount expiry that AutoFS provides doesn't work if the mounts are broken. We implement a sidecar container that then scans the AutoFS route periodically and cleans it up. And then once users access the paths again, on the next attempt, AutoFS will remount them. So that works nicely. And lastly, the issues we had was with things like node problem detector. Prometheus scraper that travels the whole slash file system, and this then resets mount expiration. So AutoFS is unable to unmount the mounts that it is managing. But there is a way to exclude paths, so it's fine. So in general, AutoFS works nicely in CSI. I'm wondering though if CSI is actually something we should be using for this, because we don't do any provisioning. This is solely to mount existing, as in pre-provisioned volumes. And those CSI drivers are there just to get them mounted in user pods. It's nice that there is so much integration already with Kubernetes that we have PVCs, we have ways to identify which PVC is managed by which driver, so we know that okay, this application is using EOS or something else. But I have a bit of a feeling that SIG is a bit of overkill in this case. But yeah, that's around it.
Okay, so those two drivers implemented this famously.
Yeah. So this was basically just to share.
Okay.
What works, what doesn't, and
all right. So
what things to look out for.
Okay, so your ask is just to see if anyone else has used this before?
Yeah. And if other people implement this differently.
So for everyone on the call, is anyone else aware of this, used this before? No, I've not heard any. No comments. Is anyone trying to speak? Jan, are you trying to speak?
May I have a question?
Of course.
So if I understood it correctly, you have like one or few giant PVCs.
Yes.
That you share among many pods, and each pod then like accesses only their own part of this giant volume. Do you have all the, like, how many PVCs do you have, and how do you share them among namespaces?
Well, since there is only one real out-of-us mount, there can be as many of those PVCs in different namespaces as necessary.
So you just
but
copy.
In principle, there would be one PVC per namespace.
So you have just a bunch of PVCs that use the same volume, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just to give an idea of how many otherwise we would have to have if each of those mounts would be its own PVC. So EOS is the file system. It's like LDAP or is integrated with LDAP. We have around 30-something thousand users. Each of them has a home directory. So and sometimes they are able to share files between different users. So it would be very annoying to need to have a list of users I'm going to share my files with beforehand. So this way they just have one PVC that they mount, and then using OutFS they can on-demand mount and access other users' home directories.
Nice.
So sounds like no one else on the call has used this before. But this is definitely very interesting. Have you added this CSI drivers to our CSI driver docs?
I have not.
Okay.
They are still pretty young, but I can, yeah.
Yeah, maybe then, more people will be aware of that and they can try this out.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. So yeah, if anyone has used this, maybe if not today, maybe later on use this. Yeah, please reach out to Robert and with the comments. You can also come into the 6:30 meeting and discuss about this again, or you can also discuss on the Slack.
Yeah, definitely. You can pick me there also.
Yeah. Just suggest to drive CSI drivers to this driver doc. Okay. Anything else?
For me, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, please feel free to come back. And hopefully there are more people who have used this, and then we can discuss more about it. All right. Thank you. I think.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, I think this one we're out of time. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.